It's green for go. They're racing.
He says go.
He says ta-da.
And Tiger Tara roars away from them on the home turn.
Here comes another big boil over.
Equine athleticism at its best.
The king is in the castle once more.
This is in one race. The rest are almost in another postcode.
She is a star with a capital S.
It's going to be a triple treat, a miracle three-peat.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have witnessed history here at Menangle. What about that? It's getting right up on the sprint lane and it's going to bolt in.
Hello and welcome to the Sunday session, of course, part of the Sprint Lane podcast series for Harness Racing New South Wales. My name's Greg Hayes and it's great to have your company this week. Another 30 minutes or so of harness racing coming your way and a lot to look forward to between now and the end of the year. Of course, the big news is that the Inter-Dominion is set to begin next weekend, sponsored by the TAB. TAB's been a great supporter of the harness racing industry for a number of years. No surprise to see them step up again. Interesting, this is the last time we will it be the last time we see the Inter-Dominion run under the traditional 3 heats and a final? For a little while, Queensland have announced it will be running 2 heats and a final for the next 3 years. Interestingly enough, I was having a chat with John Dummersey during the week, the former CEO of Harness Racing New South Wales, and we got talking about all of the different formulas the Inter-Dominion has used over the years and what was the best for the sport. I'm quite a big supporter of the traditional 3 heats and a final. I remember getting into a huge stoush on In the Gig with John Tapp about the Inter-Dominion. I've always been a traditionalist when it comes to this series, however. Sometimes, for the sake of the series and its heartbeat, changes have to be made to make it more attractive to punters, to racegoers, to sponsors, and most importantly, to horsemen and women. There's no doubt that the breed has become more refined over the past 20 years, with the US bloodlines being introduced more and more into our breeding population. It might make for interesting listening to have a chat with a harness racing historian over the next fortnight and have a chat about all the different Inter-Dominion series recipes we've seen over the years. There's been a few. The Victorians, they love tinkering with the series back when I was at Sky. Of course, Sam Nadai, when he was in charge at Harness Racing New South Wales, he went right outside the square to come up with something completely different, with all heats run in their own state in a short time frame across all of the different states and the North and South Islands of New Zealand. And we condensed it all into a 2-hour package on Sky Racing 2. I remember heading that up a couple of years in a row. Anyway, a lot to look forward to over the next few weeks anyway, and it might be worth talking to someone about the Inter-Dominion and all the different types of series we've seen over the years. Going to be a big change with the coverage of harness racing in Australia, with Sky's Brittany Graham announcing she's taking a role in New Zealand with Entain and will be covering harness and thoroughbred racing over in New Zealand from next year. Brittany and I worked together for a couple of years at Sky before I left. Unbelievably professional, knows her stuff. I was happy to play the straight host role when I was there. I let the talent like Brittany, like Jason Bonington, Adam Hamilton, I let them paint the picture. And Brittany just took the coverage to a different level. She grew up around horses. She's a driver, obviously, in the races. She was always quick to pick up on any little gear changes, so comfortably able to describe what the trainer was trying to do with those gear changes as well. She's going to be a massive loss to the industry here in Australia. I don't think people realise what Brittany does for the industry. You can't just put anyone in the role. Punters don't like change. It takes time to build a rapport with punters and viewers, and whoever gets the job going forward has huge shoes to fill. It's a bit like being at the karaoke bar. No one wants to follow the star singer. Very hard to improve on that. So interesting times coming up for the way harness racing is covered on Sky in Australia. Also heard about the nasty fall Amanda Turnbull was involved in recently during a trackwork session while she was preparing a team in Queensland. An extremely talented horsewoman. She's driven more than 2,500 winners. She suffered some very serious injuries and has already undergone 2 surgeries and is set to undergo even more. I, like the rest of the industry, wish Amanda a very speedy recovery and, importantly, a full recovery. In some other news, the date for the final Carnival of Cups meeting at Penrith has been shifted so as not to clash with the Penrith Panthers. No brainer. Penrith, they moved to Saturday night the harness racing meeting. Menangle, they'll go to Friday. Newcastle will race on the Thursday. Still awaiting the news on which Aussie rock stars will be headlining the meeting at Penrith, but I'm tipping it might be a really, really big name. So who's on the podcast this week? Well, I mentioned Amanda Turnbull earlier, and I thought it might be timely to catch up with someone from the Turnbull family and talk about a number of things. Nathan Turnbull is in the box seat to win his first New South Wales training premiership. He's a couple in front of Kerry-Ann Morris with just over 5 weeks to go. And what gives him such a big advantage is his decision to travel to a number of meetings across the state. Plus, he's got Jet, his son, and Jai Coney doing a lot of the driving. So I'm looking forward to catching up with Nathan. I'll talk about the premiership, of course. I'll mention Jet. I'll ask him how Amanda's going. I might even ask where Better Be the Best is, because we haven't seen him since the Chariots of Fire, where he sustained that serious injury. So I'll ask Nathan where he is at on his comeback. Also, I want to talk to Adam Hamilton with the Inter-Dominion just around the corner. Have a chat to him about the paces and the trotters and what we can expect with the big guns, Leap to Fame, Swayze, Just Believe, all missing the series this year. I think it actually makes it extremely open, and it'll make for great racing. So plenty to talk to Adam about. The Menangle Express will be back, where I look at every race and tell you what I saw on a Saturday night. Plus, Mr. T is going to pass on another couple of tips. What a huge week he just had. 2 winners, Gwyneth P, who paid a huge dividend, I think $11 on the tote. So much to get through on the show. Let's get straight into it. First up, it's Nathan Turnbull. Going into Saturday night's meeting at Menangle, we've got Nathan Turnbull on top in the state premiership, and just having a look, a little bit over 5 weeks to go. He's got a 3-win lead over Kerry-Ann Morris, and Nathan Turnbull joining me to have a chat. Hey, Nath, how are you?
Good, mate. How you going?
Really good. Mate, that's a super effort to be, with 5 weeks to go in the season, you're still in front and a big chance of hanging on.
Yeah, no, it's been a massive year, and there's no doubt I can't thank Jet and Jai enough. They've been kicking home heaps of winners and driving super, but even there's been a couple of times we just got back from a week in Melbourne, you know what I mean, at the Melbourne Cup Carnival, and the boys kept the stable ticking over. So without them two boys and driving as good as they are, we wouldn't be where we are, that's for sure.
I was having a chat. We had Jed on the program last week, and he was saying, you know, for Jai to make the move to Bathurst was a pretty big one, but it seemed to make sense at the time with his 5 claim and Jet losing his. So was that a big discussion to get Jai down at your stable?
I've wanted the kid from day one. I've had a lot of time for him and his family for a long time, and him and Jet have been mates all through mini trot. And then I talked to Greg Coney even as soon as he got his licence, and he just sort of said, I don't think he'll get a real good shot with Jet starting at the same time, which we both agreed on. And as soon as Jet outdrove his 5 and, you know, Jai was still sort of treading water where he was, I said that now's the perfect time to come because Jet's outdrove him and young Jack Chappell had just moved to Queensland. I said there's a massive hole here for a 5-point claimant, you know what I mean? And he moved here and he's hit the ground running as well, and it's been great.
Massive team you've got training at the moment, over 40?
Yeah, we've pumped the team up to, there's about 40 there at the moment, and we couldn't have done it without Jai coming as well, and enabled us to take a lot more on, and we sort of focus a lot on the racehorses, don't get me wrong, so we don't have to spend our days, you know, chasing the Ellens around like a lot of the other big stables, and we've really, you know, focused our stable on racehorses and travelling, and which we do a lot of, and it's paid off.
And I guess that's not going to change for the last 5 weeks of the season either. There'll be, you know, if there's a meeting on, you'll turn up with a truckload, especially with the 2 young fellas while they've got that big claim.
Yeah, bloody oath. We're on our way out to Leeton Tuesday night, and the boys both picked up a heap of drives and stuff like that. So anywhere we go, all the trainers are very supportive, which I can't thank everybody enough for. But we're going to be going here, there and everywhere definitely over the next 5 weeks.
What would it mean for you to win the state premiership title? Because third last year equals second with your old man in 2022, so it'll be a first-time win for you. It's a massive feather in your cap.
Oh, 100%. Your dead set got to pinch yourself that you're even in the running for it, to do something that grandfather and dad have done years and years before you. And really, it just makes you appreciate the work they done over the years, because we've busted ourselves travelling here, there and everywhere, and they just done it year after year. So it just actually makes you look up to grandfather and dad for the years they done it, really.
So in terms of, is it tough for you to take a back seat with the driving with the two boys, or are you happy to do that?
Definitely happy to do it, especially the way they're driving. It makes it a lot easier. But yeah, no, I don't mind. I used to be all about the driving, but now since the boys have started that, they just love it. So, and they drive so good, so it takes the pressure off me. And especially when we have the big teams in, we're running around doing all the work, and the kids are driving so good, it just takes the pressure off. So, yeah, there's no dramas there for me to take a back seat.
And what about being, proud dad, you and Carly? Like, what does it mean watching Jet have the start to his career? Probably fair to say there hasn't been someone hit the ground running like him since maybe Amanda?
Yeah, 100%. Your dead set got to pinch yourself, because obviously the kid's just lived and breathed it since he was old enough to reach the stirrups, you know what I mean? And he's looked after all the big guys, and he's, even last year when we went to America, he was going to race meets with Nancy Tactor, and him and Grimo were jumping in the back seat, having a laugh and that, and a joke on the way to the races. And I think he come back here to Australia and then drove his first Metro winner for Grimo just last week. And it's just, he honestly lives and breathes it. If he's not out there driving or on the way to the races, he's at home watching replays. So it really is a feather in his cap, really. But to see him flourish in something he loves, we couldn't be prouder.
And what about last week when he finally broke through for that first Metro maiden win? What did that mean for you sitting in the grandstand?
Yeah, well, 2 weeks ago when he just got beat, me and Carly were at home cheering him home, and he just got landed on the line. And I sort of spat the dummy. I went, this kid, he just can't crack it. He goes, it's not his fault. I said, I know that, but he just deserves it. And when he got it done, and we were actually really emotional, really, because to see, your pride and joy come through the ranks and to reach it to the top level, break 150 in his first Metro win, we just lost our shit, really.
He's had a remarkable start to his career. I mentioned Amanda there, obviously was badly injured recently. Mate, what's the news with her? Is she going to make a full recovery? Yeah.
So this week's been, our heads have been everywhere with Amanda. So the main thing is, she will make a full recovery. So that's the main thing. She broke her back in sort of 6 different places, but it's nowhere near the spinal cord. So that's the main thing. And then the main focus is really on her hand at the moment. She's done a lot of damage to her hand, which, as you know, you can't drive a horse without your hand. So she's done a lot of tendon damage and stuff like that. So there's no doubt it's going to be a long recovery. And, but all signs have been good that no doubt it's going to be a long recovery, but she should make it back all 100%. And Dad flew up yesterday, and, Mitch is coming home from Queensland now to help out with the team. So as per usual, the family just steps up, and, we'll just nurse her back to safety, and we'll all just press on and keep the ball rolling until she gets back.
So she's already had a couple of surgeries, and by the sounds of it, she's got a few more to come.
Yeah. So the first couple of surgeries she's been in this week's just been cleaning the wound up on her hand so there's no infection get in there. And then, the poor little bugger's got a few more to go with, I think they're going to put a plate in the wrist, and then she's got another one with all the tendons in her hand. So there's no doubt it's going to be a massive, effort to get back and a lot of recovery and all of that. But, yeah, all signs have been that she'll be sweet, but it's going to be a long time.
Mate, the Turnbull family, they are remarkable. Like, obviously, Mitch has been up in Queensland helping Jack after what he's going through with the cancer and everything like that. There's no doubt if something goes wrong, you blokes are very quick to pull together.
Yeah, 100%. Family's everything to us. And as you know, in this game, the tall poppy syndrome, everyone wants to kick you while you're down or whatever. But we've always all got each other's backs. And I can remember when Dad won the Interdom and Grandfather said, you just got to keep defying the odds, which, you know, we sort of do. But yeah, 100%. We've all got each other's backs. And yeah, we'll bounce back every time. And we just got to, all nurse Manda back now. And as you know, like you said, what she's done in the sport's unbelievable and remarkable and all of that sort of stuff. And we'll nurse her back to 100%, but we'll all step up for her.
Mate, just quickly, have you gone out to attract new owners to your stable? Like, obviously, you're up towards that 40 number now. Is it a case of attracting new owners to the stable, or are current owners buying more horses for you? How have you improved your numbers?
Yeah, as the old saying goes, probably success breeds success. So, you know, people see we're getting having a good run and getting a lot of winners, and we're willing to travel, which a lot of people, you know, aren't. So you get a lot of them sort of people that have one or two horses that in this day and age, it's hard to travel with a horse and pay the petrol. Like the way the petrol prices are, you got a dead set, get it, running top four just to pay the petrol. So when you're taking a truckload, it doesn't hurt as much. But yeah, there's no doubt success has bred success, and people have been very supportive. We've got a lot of new owners on board, and then also a lot of people stick by us, and it's just been a massive effort all round, and I couldn't be happy with the way things are going.
Mate, just last question, what's the latest with Better Be the Best? Is he going to make a recovery at some stage and get back to the races?
Yeah, so he's got he'll have another scan at the end of this month, which is only 7 days away, not that I'm counting down. But every scan I've done's been sweet. He hasn't left the place since the thing, and we've just been, you know, water walking him and treating him and everything. And every scan we've had's been completely positive. The vets have been absolutely super and said, you know, every scan he's had, they've said you couldn't be happier with the scan today than, you know, so every scan's been good, but, you know, we're just, living on a knife's edge really, because he's obviously one out of the box. But, so yeah, we've got a scan coming up at the end of the month that hopefully that'll say we can sort of start jogging him up, and we'll go from there.
All right, mate. Well, all the best of luck in that premiership title chase, and everyone will keep watching Jet because he's just flying at the moment. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks, mate. I appreciate it.
It's only a few days now. The Inter-Dominion is just around the corner in New South Wales. So much to look forward to. We're seeing the Inter-Dominion taken out of the city, which is a good thing, I think. And Adam Hamilton is joining me to have a chat about the Inter-Dominion. And he's here. Hello, Adam. How are you?
Hazy, great to be with you, mate. New South Wales was one of the first places to do this, weren't they, back in the day? Take the Inter-Dominion. I remember years and years ago going to see Courage Under Fire race at Newcastle as part of a Inter-Dominion series. So look, I think it's certainly it's an exciting way to start, and then we sort of build, don't we? And off to Bathurst for the second round of heats, and then back into Menangle for crunch time, the final round of heats into the finals as well. And Hazy, a lot's been made. It's easy to look at, you know, what some people might see as the negatives, and yeah, they are negatives. That there's not going to be a leap to fame or Swayze there. But I was chatting with someone about it the other day, and you know, there was a feeling going into the Melbourne Cup that it was missing a bit of star power in the thoroughbreds. And I've actually written a column for Monday saying, just, you know, have faith in the event to produce a story. And it may not go down as one of the greatest Melbourne Cup fields ever, but that chapter will never be forgotten, Hazy, will it, of Sheila Laxon and Robbie Dolan winning the Cup? Yeah,
exactly right. And that's the beauty of the Inter-Dominion, I think. Sometimes it's not about the horse that wins it, but the story. I remember, and I'm going back early 2000s when Brian Hancock got 4 through to the final at Gloucester Park.
Yes.
And young Blake Fitzpatrick had his first drive in a final. Like, okay, Brian didn't win it, and I don't think he even ran a place that year, but there's a story in itself, to train 4 horses through to an Inter-Dominion Grand Final. There's other way. Okay, it's, not ideal. There's no Leap to Fame. There's no Swayze. There's no Just Believe, but something will come out of this series to make it worthwhile.
Well, yeah. I mean, let's think back to the last series in New South Wales. That the final had so much theatre, didn't it, with the protest?
Yes.
The final had, and the story that came out of it, those images of Steve Duffy going to his father's, the cemetery and his father's resting place to put the Inter-Dominion trophy on because Boncelle was named after his father. I mean, it's and also let's not forget, Just Believe was almost an unheard of going into that series and ran a place in the final and then has gone on to, global superstardom. So, yeah, there's so much to look forward to in the series. Can Grimo do it again? Can he make it 3 in 4 years? And if he gets 3 in 4 years at the age of 29, he'll equal, wait for this, Mark Purdon with 3 pacing wins.
That's unbelievable. He is.
Well, only Natalie Rasmussen and Brian Hancock have had more wins. And I'm not taking anything away from it. It's an incredible achievement to get one horse to win it multiple times. But in Brian's case, our Sir Vancelot won 3 and Black Fake won 4. So, and Grimson will do it with 3 different horses if he does it this year.
So, does his horse deserve to be favourite going into the series, Curly James, do you think?
Oh, this sounds strange, but I don't know who deserves to be favourite. I honestly don't. And I think that's part of the beauty of it. Like, the opportunity is here I think it's going to be a series where the horse who gets through the series the best. I mean, I had a really good chat with Jason about his, and he's got 4 in it. Sierra is not quite up to the others, but Murano, District Attorney Curly James, and they're all very similar, aren't they? They're not going to dominate a final. They're more going to need a draw and the right sort of run to win it. So, and then you got Tack McLeod, who adds so much to it as well. Here we go. I will say I think a horse should be favourite, and this is despite having to come from Western Australia. I don't think Minstrel's ever raced better. I think he'll love the big track. I think he'll love the 4 runs in a week, and I think the grueling distance of the final will suit him more than any other horse. He's my top pick, Minstrel.
Great story too, with Minstrel, of course, been racing extremely well over there in Perth. But to get the horse across, were they always coming, or was the fact that a couple of the big guns didn't turn up, did that sort of stamp their papers to come across? No,
they weren't coming. In fact, it wasn't even on the radar. And then when Leap to Fame came out, and then literally in the moments after the New Zealand Cup, when Jason Grimson said no Inter-Dominion for Swayze, Greg Bond and Sky Bond were at Addington, and they made their plans then. So that's how quickly things changed. And you know what? It's very smart, and it's just being switched on all the time, isn't it? And thinking bigger picture. I mean, I think they probably felt it's a long, long way to go to take on Leap to Fame and or Swayze. But with those 2 out of the series, as we've just said, this series is open to a horse that, may not have been considered a huge chance to win an Inter-Dominion final with the other ones there. And smart move from Greg Bond. And what about driving the Duchess, Denny Roberts, just 3 Group 1s already this month, to double her career tally. It's going to be great to have her part of the series on not just Minstrel, but Tenzing Bromack as well.
Amazing the female stars that come up in our sport. Obviously, Karen Manning, you spent a lot of time travelling with Karen overseas when she was, riding the crest of that wave with Night Pistol. And then we've seen Amanda Turnbull come on the scene and have such an amazing run. But the girls, it's a sport where the girls can really shine.
Oh, no, there's no doubt about it. And it's a sport where, we're seeing a little bit more of it in thoroughbred racing, but it's a sport where they compete on absolute level terms. And there is not many other sports in the world where that actually happens. And, harness racing, the thoroughbreds are starting to catch up a little bit, but harness racing has been that way for quite some time. There were other females before Karen Manning, but I think Karen shifted the dial and actually made it mainstream for females to win premierships and win major races and drive really good horses in big races, and so many others have followed. We spoke about Natalie Rasmussen and Jodie Quinlan and
Kate Gath.
Kate, yeah. Kate. Kate announced this week, obviously, to be part of the driver series, the only female in it at the moment, and that's still. It doesn't sit totally comfortably with me that it looks like there'll only be one of the 10 being female in this Queensland series, because I don't think it's true representation of the strong female influence, particularly in Australia. But anyway, look, that's a separate thing. There'll be so many female drivers being key players in this Inter-Dominion series, and it's just going to be sensational to have Denny Roberts be part of it as well. There's an example of someone. She was always a good driver, but this opportunity came to be number one stable driver for Greg and Sky Bond, and talk about seizing it and going to another level. It's been a joy to watch, Greg.
Mate, one of the best stories for me going into this series is Max Delight and the job that Akey has done with this greybeard, who just continues to put his best foot forward. Doesn't matter who he's racing, tries his guts out every week. And Akey's really confident that the series, the way the series will be run, will be perfect for him.
Oh, it will be. It will be. And this is a horse who's been at the top level since he was 2 years old. I mean, he won a Victoria Cup, it seems like half a decade ago, beating King of Swing and Amazing Dream. And here he is, in Akey's own words, and he would have said the same to you. I don't think I've ever had him looking and feeling better than he is now. And that's unbelievable. Like, he's been running, he's been smashing the clock and running in good races for so long, but it's a real credit to Akey. And we might add, and I know Akey doesn't want to make a big thing of it, but he's done this while he's having his own significant battle with treatment for cancer. So I think, it just goes to show that there are some beautiful stories, because I think the horse has helped the person, and in turn the person has helped the horse.
Yeah. Mate, just quickly on the trotters, a chance for the younger brigade to come through. Obviously, London to a Brick, the locomotive. He has just been a phenomenon since he's arrived here in New South Wales with Brad Hewitt.
Yeah, he has. He's always been a lovely horse. Like, he's like star juvenile. Sometimes they don't go on. He probably just got a little bit into that treading the water zone. But as we know, sometimes just a change of scenery, a bit of a change up in training, and Brad's a thinking horseman. It's been an inspired move by everyone involved with the horse, and what he looks like now is just a much stronger horse to me. He's still got all the speed he had, but he just looks like he's just digging in his races a lot more, and he's got all his confidence back. He's a top pick for mine, I think, going into the series. I've got a lot of time for London to a Brick. The best of Kiyang Chucky will be super, super competitive as well. Mufasa Metro, Olivici. There's some nice trotters in it, but there's just no Just Believe, is there? And that's why I think draws and getting through the series is going to be the key. But at the moment, I'd lean towards the locomotive. I reckon Royal Dan could be a bit of a smoky too, even though he's lightly raced.
Yeah. and just looking at the locomotive being out of La Cucaracha and how good she was, just takes me back all those years ago and the great times when La Cucaracha was going around in all those big races.
Yeah, it certainly does. And still, if you talk to Andy Gaffers, an incredibly hard marker on his horses, he talks about La Cucaracha still being on an absolute pedestal as the first champion, not the only champion, because he did give that title to Tornado Valley, because Tornado Valley probably bludgeoned his way to it, whereas La Cucaracha just breezed her way to champion status, didn't she?
She did. Mate, thank you so much for joining me. Might catch up with you before the final as well, just to have a chat about the Inter-Dominion and the stories that have come out of it. But thank you very much for joining me for another chat. Looking forward at the series coming up.
No, great stuff. It'll evolve, Hazy. It always does. Like we'll be having a different conversation in a couple of weeks, I'm sure. But very happy to chat then, and can't wait to get back up for crunch stage of this series as well, mate. We'll chat closer to the finals.
Time for the Menangle Express, where I look at every race on a Saturday night and tell you what I saw. Race 1, favourite was Terry at $2.30. Double Act galloped as the starter said go. Speed from Terry. Stravinsky as well, with Terry working to the front. They went into single file. Terry, Stravinsky, Stingray Tara, Romany, Foxy Dada, Major, one for the roadie, Mick Danger, Whiskey Cavalier, and Double Act was trying to tack on. Lead time slow at 51.1, and as they got to the judge, Mick Danger came first over with Whiskey Cavalier and Double Act jumping into the running line. 30.9 followed by 28.7. There was a gradual increase of the speed approaching the turn. They ran the third quarter in 27.4. Terry gave a big kick. Whiskey Cavalier came out 3 wide on the apex of the turn, and then it was a race up the straight. Terry raced away. Foxy Dada was looking for a run close to the inside but got checked. Stravinsky battled on well, but Terry was too strong. 27.2 final quarter, 155.6 the win. Stravinsky has that good gate speed. Whiskey Cavalier driven a treat, just not good enough. Mick Danger got tired after going first over. Race 2, first fave here in race 2 was American Hammer at 135. Speed early from Rock and Roll Hammer and Cool Night, with Rock and Roll Hammer sliding across to the lead. They went into single file. Rock and Roll Hammer, Cool Night, Maybe, Major Statement, Mickey Pins, Desiderio, The Exorcist, Lochinvar Jag, Captain Richie, Captain Blood. First quarter 27.3. They really didn't back it off. 28.1 for the second. Just past the half, Mickey Pins came off the inside with Desiderio, The Exorcist, and Lochinvar Jag all coming into the running line. Captain Richie driven along at the rear of the field, 27.4 around the side. Mickey Pins wouldn't go away. American Hammer was kicking. Cool Night was sticking with the 2 leaders. Maybe looked to have run its race, and in fact, everything back in the field was struggling. Mickey Pins worried American Hammer out of it on the post, and Mickey Pins winning. American Hammer, good. So too Cool Night. They beat the rest comfortably. Times were strong. No excuses for the rest. 26.9 final quarter. Mile rate 149.7. Race number 3, the fave was Ideal Marquess at $3.30 over the longer trip. Speed from Lochiel, the Real McCoy, Tishan Raider speculating. The Real McCoy buried underneath, or burrowed even, underneath Tishan Raider and held it, but speculating kept coming around them. And by the time they got into the straight the first time, speculating was able to work to the lead. On the peg, speculating the Real McCoy, Lochiel, Dan Fernando, Shades of Heaven, running line, Tishan Raider, Ideal Marquess, Red Reactor, Joni N. Lead time 51.2, so slow, and the first 2 quarters 30.9, 29.1. So the leader got a big lungful of air. Tishan Raider under pressure approaching the turn. Ideal Marquess was out 3 wide earlier. Third quarter 27.7. Speculating slipped away. Lochiel stuck to the inside. The Real McCoy came around the leader's wheel, and Ideal Marquess started to let down with Joni N out even wider. Ideal Marquess hit the front late with Joni N flying home to just miss. Final quarter 27.5. Mile rate of 156.4. Good drive again from Fitzpatrick. Joni N's racing well. Speculating looked to have his chance. Race 4, this was for the girls. The favourite was Promised Land at $3. Speed early from Charlie's Ace, Maria Alagonda, Go O Mickey, and Promised Land, with Go O Mickey rolling to the top. So on the pegs, Go O Mickey, Maria Alagonda, Charlie's Ace, Made of Money, Winona Ryder, Total Diva. Running line, Promised Land, not her go, caught outside them. Major Fire, Zenzina, and Heavenly Holly. First quarter 27.1, followed by a 30 The speed went back on in the third quarter, but there were no moves. In fact, when they swung for home, it was only the horses back in the field that came wide that were making their runs. 27-2 third quarter. Go Oh Mickey rolled off, gave the run to Maria Alagonda. Zenzina and Heavenly Holly started to make ground down the outside. Major Fire, she just kept plugging away through the middle as well. But when the judge called a halt, it was Maria Alagonda that got there from Zenzina and Major Fire. Final quarter, 27-8 for a 152 1 mile. Winner was good. That looks to be her go. Definitely has come back better this time in. Zenzina strong late. Major Fire was brave up the straight after getting the right run. Race number 5, favourite here, Jimmy James Maguire at 150. Speed early from Cash and Bling, Celsi Bill, Dom Toretto and Jimmy James Maguire, with Jimmy James Maguire working across to the lead. They went into single file, so it was Jimmy James Maguire, Dom Toretto, Cash and Bling, Diamond Eclipse. Joe Lita has the courage, outside fighter, Stir Me Up, with Celsi Bill retired from the race with broken gear. Now, lead time was 51.1. Has the Courage came off the pegs at the 1500 and was driven aggressively to try and get the lead, but couldn't get there, but did inject some speed into the race. Joe Lita, outside fighter, Stir Me Up, all came off the pegs as well. First quarter, 30.1, and then 29.1. So that speed injection might not have been as much as it looked on the screen initially. Really got going at the cages. Seaton did that Seaton shuffle on Jimmy James Maguire, but Dom Toretto stuck with it. Has the Courage gone outside the leader? That forced Joe Lita out before it wanted to go. Outside fighter followed. Jimmy James Maguire sitting duck on the turn. 27.5 around the side. Dom Toretto came to the outside to have a crack. Diamond Eclipse followed through on the pegs and got into the clear late and started to rattle, but it was too late. Dom Toretto won. Jimmy James Maguire and Diamond Eclipse second and third. Final quarter, 27.8. Mile rate 155.9. Deserved win for Dom Toretto. Leader had its chance, liked Diamond Eclipse. I thought it was good. Outside fighter worked home well down the outside late too. He might be ready to win again. Race 6, this was the Nick Roban Memorial. He was an absolute legend, Nick Roban. Worked with him for a number of years at 2KY and Sky. Fave in his memorial race was South Coast Arden at $2.60. The speed early was from Arden's Ace off the wide draw, who crossed South Coast Arden, but it was quickly off the pegs for the retake. On the pegs, it was South Coast Arden, Arden's Ace, Master Catch, Colonia Courage, Running Line, Star Major, Lacey's Lad, Gorn, See Ya, and I Break the Line, who had to be eased back after it got caught 3 wide. First quarter, 27.6, followed by a slow 29.6 in this top grade. As they approached the cages, South Coast Arden was under the stick to keep going and looked to be under a bit of pressure. 27.9 around the side. South Coast Arden looked to be a sitting duck. Star Major loomed to his outside, and as he left the pegs, he let Arden's Ace and even Master Catch started to come through on the inside. South Coast Arden looked beaten 10 times in the straight, but just got off the canvas and won narrowly. Final quarter, 26.9, mile rate 152. Arden's Ace banked more money with his second. Star Major was good after racing outside the leader. You could throw a blanket over them late, so not sure about the form out of the race, but I did like I Break the Line, who didn't get a lot of room late. Nice horse, cruelled by the draw. Race 7, this was for the baby trotters. The favourite was Lotus Louise at $1.15. Jackie's Gift galloped at the start. Speed from San Juan Mountain early, with Majorette and Majestic Funds working forward. On the pegs, it was San Juan Mountain, Majorette, Donny Gow, Janan and Jackie's Gift. Running Line, Majestic Funds, Lotus Louise, Prince Ziggy. 30 for the first quarter, 29 for the second, and that broke the field up a bit. San Juan Mountain looked to be travelling really strongly and just slipped away, and Lotus Louise looked to be the only real threat, but had a few horses to get around. Jackie's Gift made a dart approaching the turn, 29-1 around the side. Prince Ziggy, Janan, Majestic Funds, they all galloped in the straight. San Juan Mountain still had a big lead, but Lotus Louise started to get a bit serious in the final 100, ran past the leader late, 28.9 up the straight, mile rate 157.4, winner, talented, San Juan Mountain. It's fast. It was impressive. I thought Jackie's Gift was good in the straight too. Race 8, the last. The favourite was Our Uncle Jim at $3.10. Speed from Parked in Heaven and Royal Gamble, and they quickly went into single file. So it was Royal Gamble, Parked in Heaven, Rio de Janeiro Blue, High Voltage, Port-au-Prince, Our Uncle Jim, Kuzma, Major Jealous, Sahara Sirocco. Lead time slow, 50.7. And Our Uncle Jim was trying to flush something out, but it ended up going first over as they went past the post the first time. Kuzma, Major Jealous and Sahara Sirocco all jumped onto the train. 30.7 and then 30.2 were the first two quarters. They really ran the third quarter, 27.9, and that put a few of them under pressure and out of their comfort zone. Royal Gamble gone. Our Uncle Jim under pressure. Parked in Heaven got a run up the inside. They had Fandon turning into the straight. Kuzma came at the leaders and looked like it might be the one, but Major Jealous and Sahara Sirocco kept coming down the outside. It was Sahara Sirocco that got there right on the line. Not a lot of hard luck stories in that one. 27-1 final quarter, a mile rate of 156.6. Kuzma ready to win. Major Jealous raced well. I thought our Uncle Jim can have a forget run after going first over, and that's not his go at all. Best win of the night, I'll go with Mickey Pins. Has to be the clear standout. It broke the 150 mark, driven a treat by Jack Callaghan, and looks set to be one to follow through the grades. Best beaten run of the night. Joni N was good. Zenzina was produced wide late. Diamond Eclipse was good, but I think the Baby Trotter, San Juan Mountain, great effort. Narrowly beaten. That early speed should see it win a few as a 3-year-old. So San Juan Mountain, best of the beaten runners of the night. Best drive of the night. There are a few here. Cam Fitzpatrick produced another pearler on Ideal Marquess. Poor Gavin Fitzpatrick, he was forced to earn his fee on South Coast Arden. Luke McCarthy on Maria Alagonda was good. But I think Josh Gallagher produced a couple of really nice drives, and added together they probably mean he should get it. Lotus Louise, good one. Just didn't panic, and in the end gave Lotus Louise a pretty comfortable drive up the straight, and it got there. And then Sahara Sirocco, nice drive in the last as well. Got some cover, saved up for the one last dash at them. So drive of the night, we'll go for Josh Gallagher with both Lotus Louise and Sahara Sirocco.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Winning. Hey, that's pretty good.
Winner!
That was legitness.
To that I say, all right. Wow, winning.
Bam! Just like that. That's all there is to it, Dustin. That's all there is to it. A winner. Just like that.
I'm the winner is...
Well, plain and simply, it was Mr. T. Gwyneth P. at Bathurst on Wednesday, $11, and then he backed that up with Rusty Dancer at $1.90. So he's now an impressive $165 in front during spring, and I'm minus $35. So he is $200 in front with just a couple of weeks to go in this spring session. It's 1-1 in our tipping challenge. We go every season, and I won autumn, he won winter, and he's about to win spring. What's his two this week, Mr. T? Race 6, number 1, Tulhurst Party Girl for Nathan Hurst. This is at Bathurst on Wednesday. Won 4 starts ago at Young and has been placed twice since. Third at Bathurst last time out. Comes up with a good draw, so it looks the way to go in race 6. That's race 6, number 1. And in race 8, number 9, Uncle Tony for Anthony Frisbee. Still a maiden after 12 starts, but has been placed 5 times and is only a matter of time before it finally breaks through for its maiden win. Wasn't beaten far last start from the second row draw. Should be in the finish. That's race 8, number 9, Uncle Tony. My two, I'm going to leave Menangle alone. I'm going to Goulburn on Monday. Race 1, number 2, Sweet Strike. First starter for the Fitzpatricks. Huge improvement at the trials last time out. Sweet Mama beat it at the trials. And it was beaten on Friday at Newcastle, but ran a great race in fast time. So off the trial and off the improvement in the trial, let's go race 1, number 2, Sweet Strike for Cam and Paul Fitzpatrick. And I'm going to go to race 9 at Goulburn on Monday. Holy Camp Dillon. Now it's dropping back in class compared to what he's been racing. He'll be driven for luck, but is racing well enough. Should the breaks come his way, he'll be able to dart through and win. I'm going to go Holy Camp Dillon in the last. It might help me cut into the big lead of Mr. T. Just quickly, I said last week Cole Grimson had a heart attack at Young. He messaged me last Sunday to say it wasn't a heart attack. It was just a turn. They've told him that he's got to do a little bit more walking. So our thoughts are with Cole. Fingers crossed he continues to get better. Thanks to Nathan Turnbull and Adam Hamilton for joining me on the podcast this week. I hope you've enjoyed the show. I can't wait for the Inter Dominion. It's only a few days away, and I'll catch you again next week. Bye for now.